Wednesday show. Wednesday show. Wednesday show. Wednesday show. I don't know if you can hear me or if you're. That's when it starts recording. So, whoever's going to watch this later on, the first thing you're going to hear is me singing badly. So, you're welcome. How's everyone doing out there? You guys doing good? Hopefully. Today we're going to be talking all about this past weekend's Very Merrytime Cruise. Hey, howdy, hey, welcome to the practice round. How you doing, Joe? So we're going to be doing a recap of this week's cruise that we went on from Friday to Monday. We're going to talk a little bit about the Very Merrytime Christmas theming. We're going to talk a little bit about the ship and all that other fun stuff. And we're going to talk about cruises because I've had a lot of people over the last few days who have not even talked to me about the cruises. I'm good. Hey. Yeah, so we're going to kind of go through everything. I just realized I never posted on my Instagram doing my little, right now we're talking all about Disney, yeah. Let me post that as well here. In the meantime, how's everyone doing? You guys doing good? Hopefully everyone's having a good weekend and a good not a good weekend, a good week. I'm confused on my days of the week right now. I am kind of thrown off because of the cruise, which is not a bad thing. I will gladly accept being off because of that, but my days of the week are kind of thrown off a little bit. Let's see here. Oh. I love Disney Cruise Line too. Show of hands in the chat room. How many people out there have actually done a Disney cruise before? Anyone? Anyone out there? Also, we're going to try this thing out there. We're going to throw. Ooh, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bling. I don't know where I'm looking at this. So, don't forget to like and subscribe, people. Marlene's done one. Eric's done one. Christine's done one. Matt's done Royal Caribbean. Joanne's done one a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, back in 2001. So today we're going to be talking about the Disney cruise, the Disney Dream, which was what we were on this past weekend. I had a blast. If you guys have never done a Disney cruise before, I highly, 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 highly recommend a Disney cruise. You've done 16. That's not bad at all. So fun fact about the cruise. This isn't really going to go into one of the stories we're going to talk about on the cruise, but here we are. So when you get into the cruise, when you get into your yeah, something like throat. When you get into the stateroom for your cruise, if you are a previous cruise or a Castaway Key or a Castaway Cruise member, or Castaway Club, that's what it's called, you get a lanyard, kind of like this one right here, and we'll actually just wear this for the rest of the show. And depending on the level of the Castaway Club that you're part of, whether you're silver, gold, or platinum, that's the color that goes along with it. So if you're silver, it's 1 through 5 cruises, 6 through 10 is the gold status, and then after 10 and higher, you are 11 and higher, it is the platinum. And they accidentally gave my friend a platinum one instead of the silver. So I had my gold. She was wearing platinum the entire time, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, welcome back! How many cruises have you been on?" It's like 1. Not realizing until we got to dinner the first night, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you're wearing a lanyard that's good for saying that you've done multiple cruises." So I thought it was pretty funny. Anyways, but no one in the chat room is laughing. Let's get this party started. We're going to start the 41st episode of the Wednesday show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 641st episode of the Wednesday show. Today is December 1st, 2021. I'm your host, as always, Brent Dodge. Hello. Today we're going to be talking all about this past weekend's Very Merrytime Christmas cruise aboard the Disney Dream. But of course, before we get to that, let's talk about our news for the week. First off, I would like to apologize to those of you guys on Facebook because I promised you that we would be doing a broadcast from the cruise ship on Saturday as part of our broadcast for our Saturday in the Park. Unfortunately, Facebook just would not connect whatsoever for a broadcast. We did do a broadcast over on Instagram because that was the only thing that was actually connecting. I tried on YouTube, I tried on Facebook, and unfortunately, Instagram was the only thing that was working. So thank you to those who watched on Instagram. I apologize to everyone else who did not have the opportunity to go through and actually see the live feed. It just would not connect for the life of me while I was out at sea. Also, as always, tonight's show is sponsored by It's All About the Mouse Travel. Make sure you stop by it'sallaboutthemousetravel.com for all of your Disney travel needs. All of their services are absolutely, positively, 100% free. So make sure you book with them for your next Disney vacation. And, of course, if you guys are already subscribed on YouTube, thank you so much. However, if you're not already subscribed on YouTube, bling. Ooh, that's interesting. We are growing the YouTube channel like crazy. We talked about it last week, but we didn't really go into too much detail because we were broadcasting live from Wilderness Lodge. But about a week and a half ago now, we finally got monetized over on YouTube. So thank you, everyone who's been watching videos, liking videos, commenting on videos. Every single like, comment, subscription, every single one of them really, truly does mean the world to me. I watch my YouTube studio, keeping track of like how many subscribers I have. I check at least 3 times a day, and I truly notice every time that we get a new subscriber, a new comment, a new like. It really does mean the world to me. So thank you to everyone who's been watching. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And if you have not liked this video and you're on either Facebook or YouTube, make sure you hit the like button too, because that really does help me in the long run as well. So thank you to everyone. Okay. So if you guys didn't already know if you guys didn't get bombarded with my pictures, and if you've not been watching my YouTube series, we were on a Disney cruise from Friday to Monday of this past week. We were on the Disney Dream. It was me and 4 of my friends. We had Alex, yes, there's 2 Alexes, and Ashley and Brendan, or ABBA, as we like to call ourselves, because it was ABBA. So we went through and we did a cruise on the Disney Dream. Now, let's do a quick little history about the Disney Dream before we kind of do a recap about what we actually experienced on the ship itself. So, for the Disney Cruise Line, before 1998, the Disney Cruise Line was not really a thing. However, the Big Red Boat Company would have it so they would license out different Disney characters to be on board. So if you went on the Big Red Boat, you could meet Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Minnie, and Pluto, and that was it. And there was nothing else Disney about them. It was just, hey, you can go on these ships and you can also meet these characters, and that was about it. In 1998, we got our very first ever Disney cruise ship, the Disney Magic. If you've never done the Disney Magic, I highly recommend the Disney Magic. There is something quite magical about it. The following year, in 1999, we got our second ship, the Disney Wonder, and I'm going to say this for every single one of the ships, but I highly recommend the Disney Wonder as well. It is an unbelievable ship that is definitely worth checking out. And then there was a long hiatus until 2011 when the Disney Dream, the one that we rode on this time around, opened up. And then the following year in 2012, the Disney Fantasy opened up, where I was actually part of the inaugural cruise. Oh, right. Oh, there's one of the champagne glasses from the cruise right there. Disney Fantasy inaugural. That was the preview cruise. That was the one that we actually won for our scavenger hunt that we won the previous year in 2011. And that was actually my first ever Disney cruise. So since doing the Disney cruises, I have done now a total of 7. I've gone on the Fantasy twice. I've gone on the Magic twice. I've gone on the Disney Dream twice as of this past weekend. And I've done the Wonder once, but I really want to get back on the Wonder again because I absolutely loved the Disney Wonder. So let's talk a little bit about the Very Merrytime Cruise here. So during the holiday season, it's the holiday season, whoop-dee-doo, you know the song. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, so that's how we're going to end it. During the holiday season, they do a special cruise called the Disney, or the Disney Cruise Line Very Merrytime Cruise. And during the Very Merrytime Cruise, there are a few different activities that go on to help kind of bring the festive activities around. If you watch my YouTube video that I posted earlier today, that one actually shows the fireworks show that takes place during the Very Merrytime Cruise. It is essentially Santa Claus saying, "Ho, ho, ho, look in the air, there's something magical I brought." And then they have some Christmas music playing while they shoot fireworks off at sea. Fun fact, Disney is the only cruise line that actually has the rights, or not the rights, but it has the ability to shoot fireworks off at sea. Everything else has never gotten permission from the Coast Guard. Wonder has my favorite chairs. Also, yeah, throw in the comments right now if you've been on a Disney cruise, which one is your favorite ship? If you've been on multiple ships, if you've only been on the one ship, then put down with the ship that you've been on. I see Christine's favorite is the Wonder. In addition to that, they also have gingerbread houses, or a giant gingerbread house in the main atrium. They have Christmas trees pretty much everywhere. And then in addition to that, they have different activities found on board for people to kind of celebrate the holiday season. Dream for you. The dream. Okay, so here's the order that I've always said for my cruises. I've always said that number one has always been the Fantasy. I just have sentimental attachments to the Fantasy. The Fantasy was the first ship I've ever been on, and I just always loved it because it introduced me to the world of Disney cruising. And then it's usually been the Magic or Wonder. They kind of always go back and forth. And the Dream, I just hadn't been on the Dream for so long that I was like, I don't really know. After going on the Dream this week, the Dream, I don't know if it's moved up a spot, but I still love the ship. It's kind of like going to the 4 parks and saying, which park do you love the most? I honestly love all 4 parks. I love all 4 ships. And it's tough to really rank them at times, but I think the Fantasy still stays number one for me. But the Dream this week was fun. It was a fun weekend to go on the Dream and kind of experience all the fun that was over there. Fantasy and Dream are so similar. 100% agree. There are so many different similarities, and because I went on the Fantasy first, I think that's why I've usually held the Dream at a lower level, because the two of them are so similar. I'm so ready for the Disney Wish. I cannot wait for the Disney Wish. Eric and I and Marlene, who's on there someplace as well, and then other people are. Marlene's on the same cruise as me and Eric next September, so I cannot wait to get onto the Disney Wish. How many cruises I've been on? I've been on a total of 7 now. If I had my way, I will be on 8 by the end of the week, but I don't think that's going to happen, sadly. So when we got on board, the first thing we did, obviously, as most people do, is go to eat up at Cabanas. Now, there are 14 different levels of the Disney Wonder, or I'm sorry, the Disney Dream. And on those 14 different levels, essentially 2 of them are kind of toss away. One of them is a kids club, which we never had a chance to visit because by the time we went to visit it, it was closed to visitors. And then in addition to that, is that the cruise that out on the 9th? Which cruise? And then there's a few other things, but that's besides the point. Okay, so the cruise, let's go through the kind of levels of the cruise. First floor is mainly just rooms and also the department. Level 2 has one of the restaurants. There are 3 different restaurants for your dining rotation on board. The one is the Enchanted Garden, which is on level 2. Level 3 has the main atrium along with the Walt Disney Theater on the front. In the center of the ship and the main atrium area, you have the Royal Palace, and then on the aft part, aka the back part, of the ship is the Animators Palette, which is always one of my favorite restaurants to go on to on any Disney cruise. I'm also kind of curious as to how they're going to be going about doing things without Animators Palette on the Disney Wish, because I personally love Animators Palette. I think it's just one of the highest quality restaurants, and it's going to be very odd, in my opinion, to go on a ship that does not have it. But we'll see how it goes. I think it's Disney. They're going to do a good job. In addition to that, there is also the shops on deck 3. You've got 3 different things: Mickey Sale, and I always forget the name of the 2 shops. But there's 2 shops there, Walt Disney Theater. Walt Disney Theater is also on the 4th level. In addition to the 4th level, you also have the promenade deck there where you can walk around the entire ship, but parts of it are enclosed because obviously they don't want you, like, being at the very front of the ship. And then on deck 5, we have things like the top part of the Buena Vista Theater and something else. Oh, and the kids clubs. Kids clubs along with on deck 4, on the back part of deck 4, you also have the nightlife, the night district for adults. And the night district for adults have things like the Bubbles, or Pink, it's called Pink, which is this champagne bar. You've got the pub, which is 683, and then you've got Evolution, which is a butterfly club, and a few other things. Sold out. I don't know which. I'm not sure which ones are sold out and which ones are not. We'll send me a message. We'll talk later on. What did you think of the new COVID testing procedure and waiting for results? It was excruciating for me. Okay, so the 4 people that I went on the trip with, the 4 of them don't go out in public as often as I do. Obviously, I'm at the park every day, and my day-to-day job is pretty much telling people to keep their mask on and getting yelled at all the time. So while we were, so my big fear on the way over there was I was afraid that I would be the person who would have COVID. And if I did have COVID, the rule is if one person in the party has COVID, no one can go. And obviously you get refunded and all that other stuff. But I was terrified that I was going to be the person who was going to ruin the trip. And so essentially what happens is they give you a time. We got to the time about an hour and a half early. So we went off to the beach for a little bit. We got some food because obviously we had to prepare our stomachs for all the food that we're going to eat over the next 3 days. And then we came back at 12:45. Our time was at 1 o'clock. And they told us when we first showed up, if you want to, you can come back at 12:45. So we came back at 12:45. They have you pull into the parking garage. They stick a thing up your nose, or you stick it up your nose in both nostrils. And then they have someone who's like outside your car administrating the whole thing, making sure that you're doing it properly. And then you put in a little test tube and they shake it up a little bit. And then they say, you're good to go. No. So then they have it. So after you do that portion, they say, okay, go to the parking garage and just kind of wait. So we sat up there and we waited for, I think it was about 45 minutes. And it was the longest wait ever. At least we parked so we could look at the ship. And because none of the people who I was going with had ever been on the Dream before, actually 3 of them had never been on a Disney cruise before. The other one had only been on the Magic. We sat there and I was like, oh, so here's some fun facts about the Disney Dream. And I was like, being Brent Dodge, nerd. And I was going through and telling them the fun facts. And after 45 or after about 30 minutes, we were all just going stir crazy inside the car. We're like, oh my gosh, this is awful. We just want to get on the ship. And then we figured, okay, maybe if we go to the bathroom, things will go faster. So we went to the restroom. And then when we got out of the restroom, we're like, oh, it says it's cleared. And then it wasn't cleared. And then we went upstairs. And by the time we got upstairs to the spot where you have to show it, it did say that it was clear. So it was, like you said, it was excruciating. It was one of those things where I'm glad they went through the procedures. It was nice knowing I didn't have COVID. I'm glad that we went through the procedures, but at the same time, it took 45 minutes. So I wish they would have given us an earlier comeback time, but at the same time, just the fact that we were able to get on the cruise just was well worth it. It was the COVID testing and waiting for results. It was excruciating, but just the fact that knowing at the end of it, we would be able to get on the ship and enjoy the cruise for the next 3 days. That for me was like, okay, I can get through this little hump. But my friends can tell you, I was very nervous that I was going to be the person who had COVID. If anyone was going to have COVID, I was so afraid that I was going to ruin everyone's vacation. And luckily I didn't. So that was a plus. Okay. So anyways, we got on board. 2 of my friends really wanted to do the Rainforest Room. So they went straight to the spot to book the Rainforest Room. I went straight to our room to check in to get all of our stuff. Now, the other procedure they do now is your key to the world card, or I don't even know what's called on the ship, but it's essentially your key card to get into the room. I went up there and they have it. So now they put the envelope on the outside of the room. So you have to know which room you're actually in. You have to kind of remember that knowledge. And they have that there. I got into the room, walked around. That's on a video that I posted yesterday. And then we headed over to get some lunch at Cabanas. And after we went to lunch at Cabanas, we went to go check out the kids area. Now, if you're ever doing one of the Disney cruises and you're not traveling with kids, but you want to check out the kids areas, they do different things to kind of create, or they do different things where it's like an open house. So anyone and everyone can go and enjoy the kids areas before the kids are the only ones who are allowed in there. So we went over to the Oceaneers Club, and the Oceaneers Club it's kind of broken down into a few different sections. And again, I kind of posted a few of these things yesterday on yesterday's video. But they have Andy's room. So we went through Andy's room. Inside, we had Jesse was there doing meet and greets, and we were the only people in there. So it was kind of a lot of fun. In addition to that, they have like a Slinky Dog bench. They've got Rex coming out of the wall. They've got different Toy Story characters kind of scattered throughout the room to play with. If you've ever done the Magic or the Wonder or the Fantasy, I'm trying to think of how the Fantasy was. But if you've ever done Magic or Wonder, this is like a 2-story room. In this one, it's only 1-story room. So it's a little bit different. In addition to that, they have a general middle area where different activities are going on. On the back section, they have a Star Wars room where it feels like you're inside the Millennium Falcon. This was one of those things that I was so excited to do back in 2011 when I first heard about the Disney Dream. And in 2012 is when I did the Fantasy, and it wasn't on that ship. In 2013, I didn't know that I could go into that area without a kid, even though my cousins had kids on the ship with us. And I never checked it out. So the fact that I always wanted to sit in the Millennium Falcon, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so cool. But since then, obviously, Smuggler's Run has opened up its studios. So it was still exciting, but at the same time, I was like, oh, okay, like I've done this before. But it was still really cool to be inside there. They also have a Pixie Hollow area, which has Tinkerbell and all of her fairy friends kind of scattered throughout the room and little lanterns. That's really cool. That's actually a very cool area. And then in the entrance, when you walk on into the room on the left-hand corner, they have a Disney Infinity section. And the Disney Infinity section has tons of Disney Infinity video games. And then in addition to those video games, throughout the room are different figures of the Disney Infinity characters that they used to have for the game. I got mine right down here so I can grab the closest one to me. But this right here is Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. So you could go through, you could play the games there. The games were not operating for open house hours, but I'm sure obviously the kids could go through and have a lot of fun later on. What name did you use for the announcement when you boarded? We used the Dodge family. We were coming up with stupid names, and one of my friends said, you know what, let's just use one of our last names. Let's just say the Dodge family. So we were the Dodge family when we got on board. So after checking out the kids' areas, I kind of gave them a tour of the ship. We walked around kind of pointing out fun facts and different things like that. And then by the time we finished all that, it was pretty much, one more thing that I want to talk about is the safety protocols. So if you've ever done a Disney cruise, usually they do a safety drill. It's a mandatory safety drill where you go to the location that if there was some type of emergency on board, you would have to go there, meet up with the emergency team, and they would take you onto one of the ships to, get you off the boat. In order to do this now, you have to go onto the Disney Cruise Line app. You go to your zone and you take a picture of it. And when you take the picture, it sends a thing to Disney saying, okay, they know where to go. And then you are free to continue your day. So it was so easy, so much better than what they used to do. It used to be you sat inside of like the theater, wherever your return place was, and they would go through and kind of say, oh, okay, this is what happens. And they would go through every single thing, which they announce when you board. So when you get on board, when you first get on board, and again, if you've not checked out the video from yesterday, make sure you go check that out because I do have it, but it's kind of tough to see what's going on, especially if you don't know what's going on. But when you first get on the ship, they ask you, oh, what's your family name? And like we said, the Dodge family. And when you walk through, you kind of walk through all these different officers, and they go, "The Disney Dream now welcomes the Dodge family. Yay!" And when you walk on, now what they do, instead of doing the sail away party up on the top deck, they now do it so there's like a little sail away party song and dance by Mickey and Minnie in the main atrium. I prefer the sail away party. The sail away party it always puts me in that mood of like, okay, we're on vacation. This was good too, and I understand why they're doing it, but I like the sail away party. So by the time that we finished all that stuff and a lot of eating, I think we did a lot of eating on this trip. But after we finished all that stuff, then it was pretty much time for our first show of the cruise. Now, usually you have 3 different shows during the cruise. This time what they did was they had Beauty and the Beast the first night. The second night you could go and watch Encanto, the brand new Disney animated film. And then the third day they had Beauty and the Beast again. So we went to Beauty and the Beast the very first night. Beauty and the Beast on the ship was one of the most amazing shows I've ever seen at sea. And the fact that if you've ever seen these shows on the Disney Cruise Line, I'm not a big show person. Like I enjoy shows, but I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I got to go see these shows. When I'm on the cruise, I'm like, I have to see these shows because they are so well done. They are so well thought out. So the music's amazing. The choreography is amazing. And the Beauty and the Beast show blew my mind away. It was one of the best shows, if not the best show that Disney's ever done, either on sea or inside of a theme park. It was so well done, and I was just blown away. Like, I was completely blown away. They had puppets for Lumiere, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, and the Feather Duster, and it went to follow the storyline of Beauty and the Beast from the live action film starring Hermione or Emma Watson, whatever name you want to call her. But it followed that storyline more than it followed the storyline of the animated film. But overall, blown away, absolutely blown away by that show. It was just so well done. After that, we went shopping for a little bit. I've got things that I bought. I brought them over here because people usually ask what I bought. So let's go through the things I bought. First off, I bought Captain Minnie. Hiya, Fails. I have, every single time I do one of the Disney cruises, I usually buy a stuffed animal. I had all of them. I had Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Chip, and Dale, and Pluto and Goofy. And I never had Captain Minnie. I had the old Minnie in her sailing outfit. So this is the brand new one that they have. In addition to that, I did buy the Wishables. If you guys have ever watched my Facebook post or Instagram post, I post about Wishables quite often because I really like Wishables. And they came up with this one about a year before everything closed down. And I always said, next time I do a Disney cruise, I'm going to collect that entire set. That was my one goal. And when I got on the ship, I was thinking about it, but I didn't want to say it out loud because I was like, oh, you know what? They might not even sell them anymore because it's been so long. But luckily, there's Daisy. There's Goofy. There's Pluto. Oh, look at Pluto. He's so cute. There's Donald. And then the completer is Captain Minnie. I believe they have a completer of Captain Mickey. They just didn't have it on board at all. So I had all of those that I picked up on this cruise here. In addition to that, did I buy something? No, that's all I bought on the ship. Right? That's all I bought on the ship. Yes. So after that, we went over and we did a Disney trivia competition, which we won. We got 25 out of 25 correct. A few people got 25 out of 25 correct, but it was also multiple choice. So there were some people who I think cheated. Not to throw blame at everyone, but I believe some people cheated. But the trivia, if you've never done the trivia, there are so many different activities on board these ships where you can go through. So we don't go into it more later on, but we'll go into more later on if people have questions about it. The different activities that we did was we did that trivia, we did pub and know-it-all trivia, we did another trivia, movie quotes trivia at one point. In addition to that, there was other Disney trivia. We just never got to it because we had other things going on at the same time. And then we did things like the holiday drawing. So they had an Animation Academy on board where you drew a character. Hopefully, maybe. There we go. So that's Mickey in a Santa hat with a scarf around his neck, if you couldn't figure out what that other stuff was. So they were doing holiday thing. I was convinced that we were going to draw Scrooge McDuck, but we missed the first draw class. And then while we were going through that one, the girl who did the presentation, or who ran the event, she was like, "Oh yeah, last time we did Scrooge McDuck." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So we missed Scrooge McDuck, unfortunately. But we drew Mickey with the Santa hat, which, not too bad. But I would prefer to have Scrooge. And then other things we did was we did bingo at one point, which I had never done bingo on the ships before. Bingo was a lot of fun. It was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, but unfortunately we did not win any money, so it could have been more funny. And then the other event that we went to on Saturday was Building the Disney Dream. Now, Building the Disney Dream was one of those that I wanted to do desperately. And the reason that I wanted to do it desperately was because they have these tours of the ship usually, and I've done it on the Wonder, I've done it on the Magic, and I've done it on the Fantasy. But they do a tour of the ship where they walk you around, they point out some fun facts, they tell you the history of the boat and everything else like that. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, because they don't want to have it so there's large groups of people around each other, this time around what they were doing was they were having it so it was a class pretty much. And you went into the pub called 687. Does anyone, before I answer or give you the thing, does anyone know why it's called 687? Whether you've been on the ship or not, give me a guess on why you think the pub is called 687. Or if you know, throw your answer in the chat room, and then you'll get a from me. But we went in there and we did the Building of the Dream, and it was a half-hour presentation. Most of it was ironically the stuff that I was telling my friends while we were waiting to board the Dream the day before. So they were like, I don't think my friends were that excited about it. Hull number, yeah. So it's the ship number. So when different cruise ships are being built, they don't refer to the ship by name. So it wouldn't be called the Disney Dream. It would be referred to as the ship number, aka the number ship that's being built in that specific location. So that number was the 687th ship that was built in that yard. So it's known as 687 while it's being built. And when they christen it as the Disney Dream, that's when it actually becomes known as the Disney Dream. So overall, good presentation. I learned maybe one or two new things, but overall, I always enjoy those because I just live for that kind of stuff. And then I think that's all the presentation / special activities that we went to. So let's continue going through our tour. Let's talk a little bit about our dinner. So our dinner rotation. Your dinner. So if you've never done the ships before, if you've never done the Disney Cruise Line, whatever dinner you go to first, you go on a rotation. So we had we had Royal Palace the first night, and if you start at Royal Palace, then the next day you go to Animators Palette, and then the last day you go to the Enchanted Garden. And if you start at the Enchanted Garden, the next day you go to Royal Palace, and then you go to Animators Palette for the last day. Or if you start at Animators Palette, then you go to Enchanted Garden, and then you end at Royal Palace. If that makes sense. Why was 5 afraid of 6? Because 687. There you go. We'll get to the ship horns in just a second here. So we started at the Royal Palace. We made our way over to Animators Palette the next day, and then we made our way over to the Enchanted Garden. So what they do on each of these dinners is they go through. You have amazing food. Absolutely amazing food. Now, this is another thing that I was telling my friends beforehand, and I don't think the ones that had never cruised before fully understood what I was saying until finally they were like there. But when you're on the Disney Cruise Line, and if you're at these dinners, if you want to eat more than one entree, you order yourself more than one entree. They will bring you all the food that you want to order. So we did the first night. I kept on telling them this beforehand. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. Like, just we can go through, we can order as much food as we want to. So the first night I was like, oh, I'll take 2 entrees. And then they're like, oh, are you kidding me? And then all of a sudden when they started realizing that, oh yeah, there's, it's all free. It's all including your price. We ate so much food. By the end, the one person ordered 4 desserts and I think like 3 entrees for the final meal. That's I told them that too. I was like, if you want to order from other restaurants, go for it. You can order from. I forgot that we got this feature. There we go. I was telling people that too. I was like, if you guys want to order from other restaurants, go for it. And on the second day, my friend Ashley was like, oh, she's like, I really like the creme brulee from the Royal Palace. And so she was like, can I have that for dinner again? And they're like, yeah, of course you can have it again. And they went through and they ordered it again. So during the 3 dinners, there are different shows. I put shows loosely. There are 3 different shows that you can not participate in, but when you're at the Royal Palace, they have it so the princesses come through and they wave at you while you're sitting there. Overall, not too bad. At the Animators Palette, they have it so Turtle Talk with Crush is a thing. That's right. And Turtle Talk with Crush comes to every single table, or he comes to different rooms and then he talks to each table. So if you are there, your table will be talked to at some point or another. So to me, I think it is an amazing experience to do because it's one of the greatest things that you can go. There we go. Those twice baked potatoes on the Wonder at Tiana's place, yum. They had those here at the Enchanted Garden. They had that in the steak. I think that might have been my favorite meal the entire trip. Was that twice baked potato and that steak was just unbelievable with some horseradish sauce on the side. So anyways, where was it going? Oh, so you have Turtle Talk with Crush. Crush, when he talked to our table, I was wearing my Wisconsin hat. And he's like, dude with the red noggin. He's like, what are you looking forward to most on your trip? And I was like, oh, I heard that I can meet Crush from Finding Nemo here. I'm so excited to see him. And he's like, dude, you're talking to him, man. So we had fun. And then on the last night was the most ridiculous show I've ever seen in the history of Disney. And I loved every single second of it. So they had a song playing. And I don't think I don't remember seeing this last time I was on the Dream. They had a song playing, and Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy, just the 3 of them, came in and are dancing. And then they run around the outside and like are dancing and waving at people. And then they like were missing their mark. So they're like sprinting through the restaurant to get back to their mark, to dance a little bit more, and then to run around and wave at people, to run back and like dance around a fountain. And they were like so far behind. It was hilarious. It was probably the greatest thing I've ever seen Disney Entertainment do, because I'm pretty sure they were all behind on where they were supposed to be. And the 3 of them just sprinting around manically was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. That will be in tomorrow's video. So make sure you go check that out tomorrow when that comes live. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, so yeah, you can eat all the food you want, everything else like that. So for the cruise locations that you go to, at least on our trip, we went to Nassau, Bahamas. We did not get off. I've been there. This was my 7th time getting there. I think this was the first time that I did not get off the ship. No, this was the 2nd time I did not get off the ship. Last time I didn't get off either. I don't mind it. There's not much to do unless you're doing one of the excursions. So for me, I was just like, you know what? I've seen the island enough times that I don't really have to get off of it. So I decided to just stay on board. When we stayed on board, like I said, my friends wanted to get that Rainforest Room at the spa. If you guys watched today's video, then you guys probably saw you would have seen it. But how the Rainforest Room is working right now is the 2 of them were like, oh yeah, we'll book this room for ourselves and whatever. They booked it and they're like, oh yeah, you can bring up to 10 people. And there was 5 of us in the party. So like, oh, well, we've already paid for it. So if you guys want to come too, I was like, oh, man, like if you guys want to just, do your own thing, that's fine. And then they wrote to me when we were when they were in the room, they're like, Brent, you have to get down here. Like, this place is amazing. So the Rainforest Room, I had been on the one on the Magic before. I had never been on the one on the Dream before. The one on the Dream was mind-blowing. So the one on the Magic, to just kind of compare, is like a single room, 2 little showers with like special scents and stuff. And that was about it. And then this one here had 4 showers, 4 showers, 3 saunas, these like rock benches that like emitted heat. That was like the most comfortable thing in the world. And then they also had 2 hot tubs that looked out over the ocean, or in our case, because when we went there, it looked out at a Royal Caribbean ship, or maybe it was, I don't know what the brand was, but it looked at another ship. So overall, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I did not expect to enjoy it, and I did enjoy it. So if you guys ever checked out the Rainforest Room on the cruise ships, I recommend it. I recommend doing this one over the one on the Magic, though. When I did the one on the Magic, it was nice, but it was not anything like this one. This one was kind of mind-blowing how nice it was. Love Rainforest. Wait. Yay. How'd you like that freezing shower? I got in the freezing shower once, and that was when I got out of the one. There was like that one sauna room. Holy cow! I could barely even breathe in there. It was like so heavy. That was the only part I didn't like, was those 2 sauna rooms. The one sauna room was nice, but the other ones were So we did Nassau. We didn't get off, and then we went to Castaway Key on Sunday. Hence the hat right here. I did buy some stuff at Castaway Key, obviously, with this on my head here. And then I bought a deck of cards, and then I also bought a Christmas ornament, which is over by all my Christmas stuff right now. So I don't have that right now. Over here, look at the deck of cards. Yay. Aren't they cute? So on Castaway Key, there was a lot of things that we wanted to do. We were not able to do the snorkeling. I love the snorkeling. It was the first time I've gone to Castaway Key and not done the snorkeling, but they were having problems with one of their jet skis. And the jet skis take the lifeguards out to the different stands. And because of that, because that's one of their ways to get out there quickly if there is an emergency, because of that, they were not letting anyone snorkel because the jet skis weren't working. So sadly, we were not able to snorkel. However, the things that I did do on Castaway Key is I did. I'm trying to think of how the day went. We went out there. We went to Serenity Bay for a little bit. I'm not a big relaxer, so I was excited to go do the kayak. I went over and I did the kayak. So the kayak experience takes you over by the cruise ship. There is Boat Beach, which is kind of like when you first get out there, when you first get like the first set of sand. That's Boat Beach, and that's where you can pick up your kayak rentals. When I did jet skis a few years ago, that's where I picked up my jet ski rentals. And so I picked up my kayak at Boat Beach and went out towards the ship and took pictures. It was so relaxing. I absolutely loved it. That was like my favorite thing to do of the entire trip. I think that was my favorite part of the entire trip, was doing that kayak experience. I would definitely do that again any day, anytime. But I've gone kayaking like maybe 3 or 4 times in my life. Every time I've done it, I've always enjoyed it. But this was it was just so cool. Like just kind of going out there and being really close to the ship. They were playing Frozen, so you could watch Frozen on the screen too. I didn't really sit out there and just watch Frozen, but I did watch a little bit of Frozen because I moved with my hands so much while I talk. I just hit my step goal for the day. Then the next thing I did was they weren't doing the 5K for us, at least because of social distancing. They said that they don't want to have it so too many people are bunched together. So we asked them if we could, like, how we'd sign up for the 5K, and they said, well, if you run it on your own, then just go back to guest relations or guest services and let them know that you ran it, and they'll give you a medal. So me and 2 of my friends went out and we ran it. Bam! That's the Castaway Key medal right now. Is it cool? During the 5K, I did stop and I went up the tower. It's in the middle of the island because I had time. So I went up there and I did the tower for about a minute or two and then ran back down. And fun fact, I actually got my personal best on a 5K in years during that with the stop and stuff too. So a great time on Castaway Key. Absolutely loved it. In addition to doing the 5K, after that we went over to Cookies, which is one of the restaurants there, and I ate cookies because it's in the name. And then after that we went, what did we do? Oh, we went over and we did the Pelican Plunge. There's 2 slides on the Pelican Plunge. The Pelican Plunge literally takes you and slides you into the middle of the ocean, and then you swim back to your safety. You have to be a strong swimmer if you're there, or at least a good doggy paddler like I am. But I really enjoyed. I love Pelican Plunge. Every time I go to Castaway Key, I always try to do Pelican Plunge at least once. I always try to do the fast one and the slow one because there's 2 different levels. And the slow one, to me, when I did it this time, I was like, this is so slow. So I did the fast one twice because, to make up for that time that I lost in the other one. After that, we kind of went back, hung out with our friends for a little bit, and then I got some ice cream because I got ice cream all the time. And after getting ice cream, 2 of my friends decided to go back to the ship. The other 2 were kind of getting ready to go back to the ship as well. And I said, well, I'm going to hang out here because we have an hour and a half to stay on the island. And I walked around, I took some pictures, and just kind of enjoyed my time out on the island. And then while I was walking back, 2 of my friends came back, and they're like, hey, we decided to come back. We wanted to buy something. So the 3 of us walked around. We took some pictures around the island. And then we met Mickey and all that other fun stuff. I feel like someone asked a question, and now I'm trying to think of what the question was. I know someone asked a question. That show, Enchanted Garden, was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely the funniest thing in my life. The ship horns. So the ship horns go off when you leave a port and when you come into a port. And then if you're out at sea, it happens around noon, I believe, every day, which we did not have any at sea days. But so the ship horns, they play When You Reach Upon a Star. They play Hi, Diddly Dee, an actor's life for me. Do you want to build a snowman? I'm trying to imitate the horn. But I love the ship horns. I think the ship horns are some of the best parts of it. We listened to the ship horns. We missed it the first one. We heard it coming into Nassau. We heard it exiting Nassau. That was the most clear one that we heard. And then while leaving Castaway Key, the people who were in the next room over from us, they were playing like this terrible rap music, like late at night too. We had to call guest services on them at one point because they was so loud. And I love being on the cruise and having the door open and listening to the waves at night. It just relaxes me. I find it so soothing. It's my favorite thing to do at night. And then this time around, I had the door open, and all of a sudden it was boom. I'm like, what is this? So I called guest services, and I was like, these people are listening to loud music next to me, and I just want to sleep, even though I just want to listen to the waves. And so they went over, they knocked on the door. We heard them knock on the door, and they turned off the music. But right when we started leaving Castaway Key, that's when they decided to turn this music on again. So they drowned out the sound of the horns. I was so mad at them. Still mad at them. Never found out who they were. But I will get them someday. Count Cooler, did you have one? I did not have one. The only things I had on Castaway Key were I had a burger, I had a hot dog, I had the chicken, I had a lot of food. And then I had some cookies. I had the brownie too. The brownie wasn't that good. The cookies, I think, are amazing on Cookies 1 and Cookies 2. And then, of course, I had some ice cream too. I had a lot. I cannot stress how much food I had on this this cruise here. I think I just love those horns. I think the horns are just great. The cookies are great. I think the cookies are like the best dessert out there. Although I do love, if you go on these ships, you can also order off the kids' menus during all the sit-down restaurants. So I always order the Mickey Mouse Premium Ice Cream Bar for my dessert, along with like another dessert. And, you know, I think that's always worth it. Other things that we did on the ship. We did Midship Detective Agency, which, if you've never done this, it is a puzzle that you have to figure out. It takes you on multiple levels of the ship from deck 2 to deck 10. And you go through and you have to try to solve one of two cases. One of them is the mystery of the missing puppies. And then the other one is the mystery of the missing paintings. And we did both of them at the same time, just so we could, you know, get them every time. If you go on the fantasy, they also have a Muppet one, but on the Dream, they just have the other two, the original two. In addition to that, if you guys ever go on the ship, one of the things that I always ask for, just because I'm a nerd, is if you go to guest services, you can ask for paper products. And when I say paper products, I don't mean like tissue. I mean, you can go through and you get information about the Disney Dream. And they go through and they tell you things like how long the ship is, how long the ship's name is Disney Dream, the flag is for the Bahamas, the builder is Meyerwerft Hamburg, Germany, hull 6887. The date the keel was laid was August 2009. It was delivered in December 2010. And it kind of goes through different things like that. In addition to that, you can get a floor plan of the entire ship, all the way from, or it's 13 decks. I said 14 earlier. Or no, it's 14. There's 14. All the way from deck 1 all the way up to deck 14. Deck 14 is just that little smokestack there, which is where one of the kids' clubs is. In addition to that, you can also get the engineering department technical information. They have these available on all 4 ships. Every time I go on these, I always try to ask for them because I think it's really cool. Kind of going through. This one actually has like pictures going through. It's like a little booklet. But it goes through and talks about like the stabilizers. It's got the retractable fin stabilizer units are manufactured by Bloom and Voss GmbH type S800 and are 18. I don't even understand what most of these words mean, but I find it very interesting. Okay, so that is kind of a recap of the cruise. So if anyone out there has any questions, now is the time to ask them. Otherwise, we will be wrapping up here in just about 5 minutes. So if you guys have any questions about anything dealing with the Disney Cruise Line, Disney Dream, Disney, the Very Merrytime Cruise, ask away. And we'll answer any and all questions over the next few minutes here. Yeah, so for the Very Merrytime Cruise, the things that they had on there, they had story time with Mrs. Claus. We skipped that. We walked by it at one point, and it looked pretty good. How many pairs of socks did you? One pair of. I never wear socks. The only reason I packed a pair of socks was because I knew I was going to be doing the 5K. So, but I always wear sandals everywhere I go. So, yeah, only one pair of socks. And yeah, that was about it. I mean, that wasn't all I packed, but that was. I usually pack a pair of shoes for the run, a pair of socks for the run, and then obviously swimsuit and shirts, shorts, underwear, and then a few hats. No, we did not. Oh, that was the one that I missed it by 2 minutes the one day. So I always wanted to go to Vanellope's, but we never thought about Vanellope's when it was open. We always thought about Vanellope's at like 10:15. It closed at 10 o'clock every night. And the one night I was like, oh, we can go to Vanellope. Oh, it's 10:02. So we went to the door of Vanellope's and we waved at the people cleaning inside. And that's a true story. But yeah, we missed Vanellope's every single time. I'm one of those people, I just go when I'm on these cruises. And from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, I'm constantly moving and constantly doing stuff. And I just unfortunately did not think about Vanellope's because it was not at the front of my brain. Yes, I will. I mean, I'm going to have to go on the ship again just so I can go on Vanellope's. That's just a fact. That's just what we're going to have to do. So if you guys want to help me get on the ship, you can be a Patreon pal. You can watch my YouTube videos. If there's an ad on there, just watch the ad. Like it's a minute or two. It's okay. Just watch the ad. Help me get on the ship again because I miss it so much. I really miss the ship a lot. It's been 3 days? It's 3 days. It's been not even. It was 2 days ago. I was on the ship 2 days ago. Three nights ago, I was still running around the ship, taking pictures. And actually, we were watching they were doing pirate practice for when they get back to doing the pirate show. Right now, they're doing the Christmas show. But when we're doing the pirate show, they had it so they had the people zip lining down at 10:30 at night. We were just out there kind of watching them do their practice for the zip lining. It was pretty fun to just kind of watch the behind the scenes part of that. And then I think it was 20 minutes later is when they started doing a movie on the screen. Oh, wait. No, I don't want... No. Yeah, I really miss the cruise. I really miss the cruise. I think I was talking to someone the other day. We got out to the boat at 8:45 on Monday. And that night I had to go to work. And I was talking to someone at work, and they said, well, you love Disney. I said, I love Disney World. I love Disney World. But one of the things for me is I go to Disney World every day. So when I get to go to a cruise, that's my vacation. I live where people vacation. So I love going to Disney every day. It's my life. I love it. I absolutely love going to Disney every day. But it's so nice getting on a cruise because it's kind of a change of pace for me. And it feels like a vacation. So yeah, I miss the cruise already. I honestly, I was looking at cruise prices for everything. We were literally getting off the ship, and I was pulling up the cruise prices, and we were all the drive back to my friend's house where we all parked our cars. The whole drive back, we were all sitting there "Ooh, well, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this." And we were all kind of talking about possible dates that we could go back on a cruise, with that day being the earliest option. But unfortunately, we all had to go to work like a bunch of suckers. It was the worst. Any other questions? Any last questions here? We'll fly out to Texas. Yeah, trust me, Robert. I was looking. We had one person who was there who, actually, you might be able to get Texas rates now that I think about it. I didn't even think about that. You might be able to get Texas rates for being in Texas, and those things are coming out of Texas. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I have a feeling that you might be able to. One of my friends was actually, they sent me a thing the other day with saying, well, if you want to go again, here's my cast member rates. And I'm like, oh, I just want to get on the cruise again. It's brutal. It's been the longest 2.5 days of my life. No, it's been fun still. But any other questions before we wrap it up here? Doesn't look like it. So on that note, as always, tonight's show is sponsored by It's All About the Mouse Travel. Make sure you stop by it'sallaboutthemousetravel.com for all of your Disney travel needs, including a Disney cruise. Make sure you stop by it'sallaboutthemousetravel.com for all of your Disney travel needs. If you guys, boo. If you have not been checking out the videos on YouTube, make sure you go check out the videos on YouTube. Give them a like, give them a comment, all that other fun stuff. Literally, every like, every comment truly goes a long way. I cannot stress this enough. So keep on watching, keep on liking, keep on commenting. It truly does help me in the long run. So if you guys want an easy way to support me as a creator, that's a very easy way to do it. And of course, if you guys have not already ordered your copies of A Closer Look or A Closer Look or A Closer Look or, oh, no new book yet. Make sure you stop by the Etsy shop, my Etsy shop. The link is in my bio, or it is also, if you're on the Facebook page, from Transparency Facebook page, it's someplace at the top here. So make sure you click that link. Order your books. If you order them today, I will ship them out tomorrow. That is the Brent Dodge guarantee. Bling. And of course, as always, remember that anything can happen if you let it. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh, good. My cheeks are just killing me. I just can't stand this kind of pressure.